Hey guys, Yankee here, and today I'm going to be talking about the new Digimon Card Game project that was teased at, I forget what it was called, but Bandai had like some YouTube live stream for like all their card games, and Digimon stuff showed up. I don't know much about the card game. I don't play the card game. I don't really follow it. There is a Digimon YouTuber I like, was it Digital Dream 09, who does a lot of card unboxings, which I watch and I enjoy those, and I like looking at the art and stuff, but I don't really follow the card game. So for me, this news is only really appealing if it's something outside of that. But I'm just going to talk about the little bit that we know and sort of speculate what it could be. I'm really late to the party on this. It's November 7th, and I don't think I'm going to upload this until over a week from now. So everybody has talked about this already, and so I'm probably going to be repeating things, but that's fine. I just wanted to talk about it. Before we talk about the actual card game, though, I want to just talk about the new Digimon that were shown, because we got three. We have, Magnamon X Gold Digizoid form. It's just a Magnamon X with like some black coloring instead of blue. It's fine. I personally don't really have much connection with the X antibody Digimon. For me, the thing that gets me to care about a Digimon more than anything is using them in games. Like, Andromon is a Digimon I really like, because he was the first Digimon I ever beat Digimon World 1 with. Antilamon is a Digimon I really like because of the plotline with him, with, like, Pagumon and getting him to Antilamon in Digimon World DS. I haven't played a game with any X-Antibody Digimon, aside from, like, Dorumon and Alphamon, and those are the ones that I care about the most, because, like, I remember getting the data for that in Digimon World DS and thinking it was cool. I remember playing as Dorumon in Digimon World 4, even though that game was terrible, I thought he was cool. So, Magnamon X and the rest of the X-Antibodies, I don't really have much care for. I'd like to get, like, an X-focused Digimon game at some point. I think that would be cool, but... So, this new Magnamon X form doesn't really do anything for me. Alright, the next Digimon, this new knight that they teased that just looks like Alphamon. I don't like it. It's boring. Again, it looks just like Alphamon. Yeah, I really don't know what to make of this guy because he's so generic. We only get like a little teaser. Maybe they'll surprise me and he'll look drastically different when we see like his full design, but like this little headshot that we have, it's not appealing to me. Royal Knight stuff has gotten kind of dragged out, in my opinion. Like, they fall back into that too often. So this guy looking just like another knight is kind of disappointing. Next up, though, this little bird guy, like bird reptile looking thing, I think he looks great. Like, his hands kind of looking like Falcomon, the original Falcomon, the one that was in Survive. Like, his head is an odd shape, but I don't hate it. I really want to see what he looks like in color. I want to see what his color scheme is, because I think this little guy is really, really cool. And I think you can get some, even if I don't like the evolutions they give him proper, I think you can get some cool stuff out of him. And that's one of the things that, I'm sure anybody watching this is a Digimon fan, but one of the things that really appeals to me from Digimon is that you get a cool Digimon, and then you can just sort of play with it and make up evolution lines and see sort of like what would be cool for it. So even if I don't like the knight guy that's coming along with him, that doesn't matter. I can ignore that and just have fun playing around with this little bird guy. So yeah, he's great. Magnamon is fine. Knight guy, kind of not really feeling it. It's kind of boring to me. Alright, but before we move on to the actual speculation here, this is something that I've seen mentioned a few times, so you've probably heard this already, and I think it's a good theory and probably true, especially with the knight guy looking so much like Alphamon. In the Digimon X VPETs, the Digital Monster X's, there is an overarching storyline sort of sprinkled throughout, which the English releases we're sort of a bit lost on, because it didn't come with the little, like, I think they're comics, sort of explaining the lore and things like that. But basically, at the end of the storyline of the Digimon X's in the X3, the Royal Knights X-Antibody forms fight a Digimon Ogurumon X and defeat him, and they are left with an egg, and basically the story ends with them, with the Royal Knights taking that egg and saying, alright, we're going to raise this Digimon to become a Royal Knight now. And so a lot of people are speculating that this is picking up on that storyline, and this little bird guy is what came out of the Ogurumon X egg, and whatever this new project is going to be, is going to have focus on raising it to become a Royal Knight. And I think that's a really good theory. I think that sounds like what it could be. It sounds very reasonable. I think that would be cool. Again, I'm kind of tired of them constantly going back to the Royal Knights and things like that, but wrapping up a plotline that they set up before, I think that's good. Like, don't just leave that hanging for however long. Okay, so that's the new Digimon out of the way. 1 out of 3 I'm really liking. 1 I'm just sort of neutral on. 1 I am not interested in very. Okay, let's talk about what this new project could be. So it's coming 2024. There's a lot of things it could be. Game seems to be the one that a lot of people are leaning towards. I need a pencil real quick, because I just thought of something else that I'm going to write down here on my notes. Okay, and I will talk about that at the end. Okay. New game is where the speculation seems to be leaning the hardest, and that's sort of the ballpark that I'm in right now. That's where I think we're going with this, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Some people think anime, manga, light novel. I'll talk about each one of those sort of as we go down this list here. But before we get into the things that it really could be, this is just an idea that I had, and I don't know how feasible it is, because I don't really know much about the card game or anything like that. I just talked about the Digital Monster X's and how they have a story going along with them. So the idea that I had was, could this just be doing something like that but with the card game? Maybe this isn't a new game or a show or a manga or something, and it's just a story that they're going to be telling in the card game. So instead of using tamers from, like, the anime and stuff, they're going to introduce new human characters that go along with this story. I don't know how feasible that is. That was just a thought that I had, and I wanted to throw it out there, because I don't know if anybody else has mentioned that. So I don't know how, again, that's just an idea that I had. It might not be anything, but I wanted to throw it out there in case something like that happens. But yeah, could be a card game, like, story thing, like with little comics that come along with it or something. Anyway, next, new game. This is where I think a lot of people are leaning, and I think it makes the most sense. For basically since the game's launched, I've been hearing people talk about how they want an online client, right? So they can just play the game online. And this could be a way to do that. There's some stuff in the teaser that makes people lean towards it being a VR or Facebook metaverse thing. I don't really know much about metaverse or what it is. It's just a VR thing with Facebook, right? So it could be that. It could be like a VR game or like a Facebook metaverse thing. It could just be an online client, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Has one. I think it's like Dual Links or something like that. It could be something like that. If it's either of those, I don't care. I'm not going to play just like a straight simulator of the card game. I have no interest in playing like online matches with people or things like that. If it's some VR thing, I don't even have VR. I'm not interested in VR. So that's completely kills any interest I have in this. The only way that we could get a card game that I am interested in is if it is a proper video game. Like, I never played the original Digimon Card Game on PS1. Or is that the sequel? I forget. Only one came out in English. I don't know which one. But I never played the card game that was on PS1. I played a few Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. Like, there was one on PS2 that Rose something, I think. I don't really remember. I remember liking it a lot, though. There was a couple on Game Boy Advance I had. There was one in particular. I don't remember any of the names to them. But you played just a random guy with like a blue baseball cap, and you had Joey and Yugi walking around with you, and you just walked around, and you could like challenge anybody to a duel by pressing like the L button or something. I thought that game was cool. I had a GX game, which was okay. I think I had a couple GX games actually. And then I had a 5Ds one on the DS, even though by that point I was well out of Yu-Gi-Oh! So I don't know why I got that, but that was cool. And for me, the the Yu-Gi-Oh! Games I liked the most were the ones where there was like a world you were walking around in, and it wasn't just like, all right, going through menus to do duels. So like that GBA Yu-Gi-Oh! One where you play as the kid with the baseball cap. I thought that one was really cool. The 5Ds one was cool. I have a distinct memory of you being like either kidnapped or saving somebody that was kidnapped or something. Like I remember there was like a stealth section or something, and I thought that was cool. And that game even had like a character creator. So if it's something like that, like give me a card game with like its own story, that's its own game, and then have the just like online client built into that, I'd be interested in that. But if it's not that, then you kind of lose me, and I'm not going to play it most likely. But yeah, game, it seems to be what a lot of people are leaning towards. That's what I'm kind of leaning towards. The mention of metaverse and stuff like that really makes me think it could be a game. I guess that could also just be flavor, right? Like, okay, no, it's an anime, but it takes place in the metaverse. Maybe. So I guess we'll move on to anime. Like anime, manga, and the last thing that I wrote down here is light novel. That's the note that I just added. I can sort of talk about these all at once because they're all sort of similar. New anime. I forget what the show that replaced Digimon Ghost Game was, but that's been going for almost a year now. Ghost Game's, ended in March? So that'll be, I assume that will be wrapping up in 2024. This new project starts in 2024, so it could potentially be a new anime to take up that slot. That could make sense. Have it be card game focused. That could be cool. We haven't had a Digimon anime that's card game focused. We had Tamers, which had the cards in it, but it wasn't about just playing the card game, right? And like having people play Digimon the card game and they all have their own Digimon partners, that could be neat, right? Like I talked about Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, the thing that I remember about that is like the winged Karibo ghost thing that would just like appear. So like everybody having like their own partner Digimon while they play this Digimon card game could be neat. And you could translate that into anime or manga or light novel. I know we had the manga competition that we didn't see if there was a grand prize winner that's going to make a manga, so this could be related to that. I'm in the camp of they just didn't give a grand prize, so that's not happening, but it could be a new manga, especially since they took Digimon Dreamers out of, was it V-Jump? Or I forget what magazine it was in, but they took it out of that magazine and they moved it online, so they could potentially be putting a new Digimon game either in that magazine to take the slot that Dreamers left, or just putting it online again. And light novel, I brought that up because while I was talking, I remembered that Digimon Seekers exists, and when they announced that, they said it was going to go for a year, right? And that started in April, so that should be presumably wrapping up soon. I'm not following Seekers very much, and by very much I mean at all. I read the first handful of chapters, not even chapters, it was still chapter 1, fractions of chapters, and I decided that I was just going to wait until it was finished to read through it. So this could be a replacement for that too. But yeah, that's basically the possibilities we got. It's either just something entirely card game focused, where it's trying to do storytelling through the card game. It's either a game, which is sort of where I'm leaning, or it could be an anime, manga, light novel. There's a lot of options, and I think it's good. This speculation is a breath of fresh air, because if you're not following Seekers right now, there's not a whole lot of Digimon content to really be excited about or talk about, except for the card game, I guess. People that like the card game are enjoying that, but if you don't play the card game and you aren't reading Seekers, game news is very sparse. We don't have anything. Ghost Game ended and there's no sign of a new anime, so suddenly we have something to talk about. which is nice. But yeah. Oh yeah, I also wanted to talk about the title. I didn't have that in my notes. It should be the last slide that I'll use in this video, so you should be able to see it. But we got like a blurred out title. It's Digimon and then like blurred. So I just want to throw this out there because it seems pretty easy to read to me. Not so much this picture that I'm going to use. This one looks a little bit harder to read. But to me this is, what is it? Liberators? Liberator. That's what it seems to me. We'll see. Now that I'm looking at it, this could also be like a U or US or something, but I don't know. Just the LI being really close together, that being a B that's also sort of like bunched up. I don't know. So that's just sort of my speculation for the title too. But yeah, Digimon stuff's happening, and I'm really excited. If it's some metaverse game, I'm not going to play it, but it could still be cool, right? Like that Chinese phone game that came out. I can't play that, but like every once in a while, like cool new Digimon gets shown. So that's fun, right? So I'm just hoping that even if this ends up being something I'm not interested in, I can still get some cool new Digimon out of it, right? But yeah, that's the news. I'm way late to the game here. We should be getting more information. I think it says in December. So by the time this video goes up, it'll just be sometime in the next few weeks. Hopefully we'll get some news. And if it's something cool, I'll make a new video on it. If it's not something I care about, I might not. But yeah, Digimon stuff is happening again, and I'm excited. So hey, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.